We saw in the last two sessions the selected verses from chapter 2, and we are in chapter 3. In the beginning of chapter 3, Bhagavan Krishna has said, in this world there are two types of people, those who are prone to action and those who are prone to contemplation. Those who are thinkers and those who are doers. Lokesmin dvivita pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. And most of us are a mixture of both, thinking and doing. But what is predominant in us, accordingly we will determine our priorities. A person who is prone to more action will not be sitting here. He will be somewhere else pushing a chair, pulling another thing. They cannot stand, they cannot sit quietly. If you ask them to do something, they are ready to jump. But ask them to think, they will go to sleep. And others, you tell them 100 times, because they are lost in the world of thoughts. Then you might have seen in your own children also like that. However, Bhagavan Krishna says these two kinds of people are there. And jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. For the people who are thinkers, I have given this knowledge, path of knowledge, it's called Jnana Yoga. And people who are thinkers have given this path of action, karma yoga. But indirectly he is indicating to Arjuna, decide, think which category you belong. Because Krishna is there to advise him based upon the nature of that person. Teaching cannot be the same for everyone. Just like the medicine cannot be the same for every patient. If the doctor has a standard medicine for everybody, back in India when I was growing up, there is a compounder. Compounder. That fellow, every time he will do the same thing. And because of your psychological feeling and faith, you will get cured. Not because of what he gives. Because everything tastes the same. Anyway, why did that come now? Okay. The medicine cannot be same for everyone. Based upon the nature of that person, so will be the decision on what kind of medicine should be given. Because the pharmacist does not know that whatever doctor prescribes, he will give. So similarly, Krishna says, you decide which category you belong. You are a man of contemplation or you are a man of action. To start with, he knows that Arjuna is essentially a warrior, a soldier, it means he is ready to act, to accomplish, to win, to conquer. That's why he says, Nahi kassikshanam abhijad tishtatya karma krit karyadehi avashak karma sarva prakritijayi gunaihi. Not a single person will remain inactive even for a moment. Action at the physical level you can see, action at the mind level you don't see it. So not any individual remains actionless even for a moment. Karyadehi avashaha, uncontrollably, forced by the nature, sarva prakritijayi gunaihi, due to one's own nature, quality of thoughts, an individual engages in action. Bhagavan Krishna cautions Arjuna, karmendriyani sayyamya yaste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimudatma mithyachara savachate. A person who has lot of desires in his mind but physically not active, only mentally he is engaging in indulgences, such a person is called a hypocrite. Yastvindriyani manasa niyam yarabade arjuna karmendriye karma yogam asaktasya vishishyate. On the other hand, an individual who is able to engage in action properly, not just superficially sitting there as though like a yogi, but mentally engaged in all set of indulgences, instead of that, let him get out and roll up his sleeves and start working. And with an attitude of karma yoga. He is greater. Yaha tu indriyani sayyamya. Karmendriyahi, sense organs of action. Karma yogam, engaging in that action of yoga of action. Savishishyate. Asaktaha, unattached, detached person, he excels. What is that detached action? So because Arjuna is getting curious now. Oh, that means to say, a karma yogi also comes to that level of a jnana yogi? Yes. How? Because an individual who is mentally detached, physically engaging, he is on the way for contemplation. Because what makes us not able to think deeply is because mind is preoccupied with so many unwanted, impure thoughts. So that's why he says, Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajjahyo hi akarmanaha sharirayatra pichate na prasiddhet akarmanaha. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. So first of all, decide what are your kartavya karma, what are your duties that you alone can perform. That you engage in. Because what makes us distracted is our kamya karma, desired actions. The difference between duties and desired actions must be clearly understood. in a day's routine, how many of the actions you do because you are supposed to do, and verse service, how many of your action you are doing because you like to do them. One is called kartavya, another is kamya. Kamya is where you ask the question, what do I get, what do I get, what do I get? That is kamya. Kamya means out of your own personal desire. I want money, I want name, I want fame, I want to be recognized, I want to do things that will make people appreciate me. It's all about personal ambition or ego or pride, in increasing your pride and ego and greed, etc. Those are all kamya. Uska kamti karo. Kam ko kamti karo. Kartavya is what is to be done by you, no matter whether you are appreciated or not, whether you are even noticed or not, whether you are even recognized or not. For many of us, you don't even know what is kartavya. What is our duty? Being husband is a duty. Being a wife is another duty. Not another duty, it's the duty. Because nobody else can replace that. For a few days, can you just be my husband for my husband or my wife, please? I'm going out of town. Can you pass on that to anybody else? Being a parent is your duty. Is it not when you are going to your first time when you joined your workplace, don't they ask you to what are the things you are supposed to do? They give you the job profile. Anything else you do is out of your choice. But these things you should accomplish. In the same way, what are the things in your life which you and you alone can do? That should not be forsaken. That should not be compromised. So, niyatam karma, kartavyam karma, kuru. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. And doing that is better than not doing. Karmajyayo hi akarmanaha. So in the name of renunciation or in the name of giving up, do not forsake and compromise what you are supposed to do. Because even to maintain this physical body, maintaining this physical body is also kartavya. Sharira yatra api, even the journey of the body, you cannot accomplish by actionlessness. Gurudev used to say, renunciation, sannyasa does not mean every morning you open the mouth and somebody puts the food in that. Work hard, sweat. 18 to 20 hours a day is sweat, and then you eat, there is a fulfillment. Nowadays what we see is we want minimum work, maximum wages. Minimum work. Swami Chinmayananda, he would say that your sweat, Narayana likes it. You sweat it out. Then you eat, you have no regrets and no guilty feeling. And that also to be done with an attitude of surrender. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate. Even this physical body's maintenance is not possible if you have nothing, if you have not done anything. It is important, therefore, you earn your own living, maintain this physical body. That itself is a yoga. Perform your action desirelessly, whichever action you have to do, supposed to do, kartavya. For that matter, this physical body, when it is hungry, somebody can eat for that. Somebody can sleep for it. Somebody can bathe for it. Somebody can give medicine. So you have to do because this is yours, right? Similarly, what is yours, what is you alone can do, that you will should never compromise. If you have taken to a family, then the family responsibilities, taking care of it, that is kartavya. Whether you like it or not, do it as an offering to God. Niyatam kuru. So you are a soldier, Arjuna, and you are a king in line. Once this particular war is won over, then you will be the king. So therefore, being a king, fulfilling that duty as a soldier, as a king, is not something which you like to do or not like to do. No question of that. You have to do it. But there is an exception. Arjuna said, what is an exception? Who has no duty? Now you see. Repeat after me. Yasvatmaratireva syat atmatriptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtah tasya karyam na vidyate. There is a rule, exception for every rule. Always. The rule is more highlighted because of that very exception itself. This needs to be done by everybody except in this case. And the lawyers are only interested in that. What is that loophole? You want to make sure that that is taken care of. A person murdered and all those things, and then except if he is insane. You have to prove that he is insane. In one particular case, there was a murder that has taken place and a person was accused and he was put in the court and trial was going on and on and on and on. So, and it so happened that the judge was about to finally give the judgment and this fellow was standing there. You are so sure that you have not killed him? No, I have not killed him. I am telling you right now, the person you are accused for killing, you have been denying that. Do you know one thing? All people are very anxious. Now I will show you something. The person whom everybody says that you have killed, is just now walking inside the courtroom. And the door opened. Everybody turned. He didn't. Because he was so sure that he only killed. But he didn't want to accept that. So everybody turned. Because others are not sure. See, you didn't even turn. That means you killed. Because you are so sure that you killed. How can you be walking around? So, action we must. There is no exception at all. But there is an exception here. He who has gone beyond the need to act. Beyond the need to act. Beyond the need to even maintain his physical body. What he said earlier, even to maintain his physical body a person has to act. He says, he who has even gone beyond that, meaning this body is not me. If one has come to that kind of a maturity of enlightenment, then such an individual need not act at all. Yaha tu atmaratihi eva syat. Yaha, he who is atmaratihi, na deharatihi, na indriyaratihi, na vishayaratihi, atmaratihi. He who has the delight in the self, in the presence of God within him, yasvatmaratireva syat, and he is so content with that nature itself. I am that Paramatma, the self. Nothing I need in this world. Atmanyeva cha santushtaha, atmatriptaha. Self-content, and he found a complete joy in being that. Atmatriptascha manavaha, atmanyeva cha santushtaha. Santushti, contentment, delight, joy in that alone. Tasya, to him, karyam na vidyate. There is no action for him to do. 3-4 hours back, what were you doing? 5 hours back, 6 hours back, what were you doing? What were you doing? The world was so peaceful because you and I did not wake up. Is it not true? This part of the world, that part of the world, there is so many things going on. This part of the world is so quiet, peaceful. Why? Rakshasas are not awakened. The fellow, the ego, the individual who wants to achieve, accomplish, prove everything, that fellow is quiet. In the nature of slumber, living like a lumber. Like that. Why? Because at that point, we were not driven by our desires. We were under the spell of Prakriti, Maya, sleep, forced quietude, forced actionlessness. For a short period of time. Did you not like it? Did you like it or not? Swamiji, you are talking, we are already there. So, in that state of sleep, what action what duty you have? Why there is no duty there? Because you are not identified with this physical body. I am this, that thought is gone for a short period of time. I am not a husband of somebody, जिसका हंसना बंद हो गया, वो नहीं है मैं नहीं हूँ. So I am not a wife of somebody, I am not a parent of anybody, thank God. So I am not, so that idea that I am so and so, I have this relationship, I have these duties, so the whole idea of I am this is gone. Is it not that stage where you have absolutely nothing to do? And you don't even regret for that. So when is that you have no duties? When you are not identified with this individuality. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma karta aham idi manyate. He who thinks that he is the doer, this physical body is the doer, that is the ego. I am the doer. He who has decided to withdraw from that thought, I am the doer, because there is no more identification with not only the physical body, but also the mind which is holding on to the physical body, not even the idea that I am so and so, it's not there. What was your condition at that time? Supreme anand, joy. And before going to that state, you have decided to postpone all your actions to next day. Is it not? Tomorrow. Kal karenge, aaj nahi, abhi nahi. So one is that state. What is that state? Atma triptaha, Atma santushtaha, Atma radihi. So that means to say, Swamiji, the person who has this condition is a constant sleeper. He sleeps only all the time. He had slept to the idea that I am this. He is the only exception from action, from all duties. So, yasvat maratireva syat atmatriptascha manavah atmanneva cha santushtah tasya karyam na vidyate. Duty free. Don't take any, some other idea. Duty free does not mean anything. That also gives you duty free for a short period of time. Very spiritual you become. Highly spiritual. Then you become highly spiritual, also duty free. But we are not talking about that duty free. Here, free of duty, where the mind is no more an individual egoistic mind, is not identified with the physical body, he doesn't consider himself as so and so, because of which he is totally identified with the higher nature, which is the nature of everybody, which is the self of everyone. Therefore, there is no individuality seeking identity or name or fame or indulgence and any kind of, all these things have subsided. Such an individual alone is exempted from action. So Arjuna is interested. Can I reach there? Yes, for which you must start purifying your mind right now onwards. Understand what it is. Slowly gain your momentum towards that. Then you don't need to give up action. Action will not touch you. As you grow up, the action will fall away from you. And you won't even regret for that. You don't need to give up. You just grow up. But when you are here, you have to do the right thing. As he says in the, who is the leader? He says in the next verse, Yad yad acharati shreshtaha tat tat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. This is one of the very fond, very favorite verse of our own Gurudev, because it's one of the beautiful statements Sri Krishna makes here. Yat yat shreshtaha acharati. Shreshtaha, a man of certain prominence in any society. Yat yat acharati, whatever he does, tat tad eva, that and that alone, itaraha janaha acharati. Others follow, other person follows. In every one of us there is a leader. Who is the leader? One who leads himself first. What I am convinced I must do first. Not like those leaders follow and he stays behind only. Follow and he stays behind. He doesn't follow. Then you fall low. They follow. You fell low. Why? You never follow. A person who is convinced about a particular ideology or a principle, a policy, a philosophy, a value, if he follows that, then obviously looking at that person, others will follow him. If you yourself are doubtful, and you don't yourself perform or do that, then how do you expect anybody else to follow them? You yourself are not sure. You tell your son, son, smoking is very bad to your health. Don't do it. Will that fellow follow you? Why? You yourself are not doing that. So if you are convinced, then alone you are even qualified to tell others. Yat yat, whatever it is, whatever action, shreshtaha, a person of prominence. So in your own home, for your children, you are shreshtaha. You are important, you are a person who is an important person, where someone, even one person looks up to you, then you are a shreshta. Most likely you will say, your younger boy will always follow whatever that elder fellow does. When he was young, of course. Once he has grown up, he said, I know that my brother is useless. I will do better. But, and when he is young, when he is in, he is influenceable, impressionable age, that time he will always look up his brother. What he does, he'll just follow. If he's done that only. If he plays that alone he wants to play. Why? Shreshta. So whatever a person of prominence and importance, a leader does in this world, that other person follows. That's why in our advertisements also, Hollywood actor, Bollywood actors or cricketers and soap. I use this soap. I use this blade. Everybody will buy. Why do they put them? Why? Because if he is using, I also want to use. Because they always use a man of importance, popularity to brand their product. Because those who like him will like the product also. Marketing, yeah. Yes. So that is what is the marketing, how to market a product. Yat yat acharati shreshta tattadeve itaraha janaha sa yat pramanam kurute. What he proves as an authority, pramana. Saha, Sacha Purushaha Shreshtaha, Yat Pramanam Kurute. What he proves to be right, Lokaha, other person, Tad Anuvartate, follows that. So when you prove that, as an important person in your own society, in your own community, in your own circle of people, when you prove this to be right, a principle, an idea, others will follow. Executive training. First thing they say is, understand, people are following you. Therefore, you must be clear about what you are doing. You must be sure about what you are saying. You must prove what you are saying. Then, that is called empowerment. So, who is the leader? The leader is one, first of all, he who follows his own, what he believes in, so that others will follow. Lead yourself first. So Krishna says, Arjuna, you are a leader. So many thousands of soldiers are standing behind you to get into this war, and you yourself are vague, not sure. Do you think that they will ever get an enthusiasm to fight the war? Because if the leader himself is not sure, in your own life you would find that if you have taken up to something very seriously in your life, it is because you are impressed by somebody who showed it to you how this is. Is it not? Maybe your own parents, your own uncles, or your own somebody very close, your own teacher maybe. In fact, a person can influence so many people to follow certain ideologies. That's how the world has been. One Martin Luther King, one Mahatma Gandhi, one Hitler, one Napoleon, one Lincoln. Have they not lived for a particular principle and showed to the world this is important? Because of which the whole generation has got influenced by them. So because they are so sure about that. Yet pramanam kurute. When he proves it right, Lokaha tad anuvartade. People follow it. So, Karma Yoga in essence is where you are sure about your own ideology clearly and you follow yourself first. And the example is, Krishna says, me. I have nothing to do in this world. Meaning, there is nothing that I have not gained in this world for which I have to work. Nothing will I ever lose if I don't work. Then why am I here? Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam Varta eva cha karmani. Hey Partha, na kartavyam me asti. Me kartavyam, kartavyam as I said, duty. Me kartavyam na asti. I have no duty to perform. Where? Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Nothing in these three worlds. Bhu, bhuvaha, swaha, earth, interspace or heaven, where I occupy, I am there in all the three, and I have absolutely no particular action to perform. Why? Who has no action to perform? Remember, previous one. Yes, swatmaradireva syad atmatruptascha manavaha atmanyevacha santushtaha tasya karyam na vidyate. He who revels in his higher self, he who is content and happy with his own self, for him there is no particular duty to perform. Why? Na anavaptam avaptavyam. There is nothing that is not gained by me that I need to gain by doing anything. Anavaptam, unattained. Avaptavyam, to be attained. Na. I have nothing in this world that I have lost to gain them, or nothing in this world for me to lose anything. A child of a few months old doesn't have a duty to perform. 3-year-old, I mean 3 months old, 4 months old, you tell, wake up in the morning, sit down and do meditation. कुछ काम करो ना, सोते रहते हो तो. Will you say, with a child 3 months old, 4 months, there is no duty to perform. Why? Because it has not identified with the physical body still. It doesn't have the idea, I am so and so. But the fellow wakes up and then gets up and then becomes a 1-year-old, 2-year-old and, hey, sit down. Pado. Why? At that time the individuality has already started. But the child which is just an innocent infant one, he sleeps more 10 years, 11 hours, 10 hours. That's why it is, Bhagavan is like childlike. There is no idea that I am so and so. So Bhagavan's Lord says here, I have nothing to lose in this world because I have never lost anything. I can never lose anything. We never own anything. Or I own everything. Therefore, whether it is he gains or he gains, it is like from left pocket to right pocket. It is mine only anyway. Tera tujhko arpan. It is all yours. Whether it is he has it or she has it. It's his. So I said, I have nothing I have lost here. Anavaptam avaptavya. There is nothing that I have lost which I have to gain. So one who has reached that stage of enlightenment where he sees Vasudha eva kutumbakam, the whole world is one family, there is nothing that I have ever lost because all of them are one single whole family only. Such a person who has reached that stage of realization, for him there is no work. So Krishna is not giving a hypothesis. He says, me, I am the example for this. Don't think that is not possible. Don't think that it's only a hypothesis and a theory. Here he is standing in front of you, Arjuna, me. I have nothing in this three world to do. But, varte evacha karmani. I still engage in action. Why? Why should I? Why? Because yadyada acharati sreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha. Because whatever a man of knowledge or man of importance does, others will follow. Therefore, people follow me, even though I don't have anything to do. I engage in action. Why? Because people otherwise imitate what I do. Bhagavan, you are constantly sleeping. Do you know that? Ananta Shayana. Lying on the bed of snake, you are constantly sleeping. What do your friends, what do your bhaktas expect you to do? They will also do the same thing. No. Everything that is happening in this world, if the sun is shining there, if the moon is shining here, if the water is flowing, the wind is blowing, it is because I am making it happen. I am working through all this continuously. So you may not see me doing it, but I am behind the whole thing. You are able to breathe, it is because I am making it happen. You are able to walk and talk and see, and hear and taste and smell and touch. It's because of presence of life in you. Is it not? The life that is there within you pulsating as here, hum, I. That because of which all actions are taking place, that is me. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutashayastitaha. I am the life within all of you, and without whom none of action will take place. Therefore, don't think that I am just lying down there doing nothing. I am the one who is making everything happen, but with no concept that I am the doer. Even though I have nothing to gain in this world, I act tirelessly. Mama vartman vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Because people follow me all the time. Therefore, I cannot afford to remain lazy. So Krishna says, please understand, it is not a theory, it is not just a hypothesis, it is not a fantastic idea. I am standing in front of you as an example of that. I have nothing to gain in this world, but yet I do not stop working. For example, what is my gain in this war? You tell me. Hey Arjuna, what is my gain? Duryodhanadi Prabhudaya, all these Kauravas are also my cousins. And you are also my cousin. Do I have partiality here? I help you and not help them? In fact, I help them more. All my Sainyas are there with them. My whole army is with them. They did not help you. I am helping you by being there with you. Do I hate them? No. I hate not the sinner, I hate the sin. I only want to punish for the actions that they have doing. They are equally important to me. But what they do has to be punished, because that is a punishable act. So I am here engaged in the war, not taking a weapon in my hand. Because what I say, what I do is very important here. I engage in this world, therefore, not for any particular person or a benefit, for the benefit of everybody. He says, Loka Sangrahamevartham, for the sake of the benefit of the entire world. So therefore, Arjuna, don't just run away from the field of action, saying that you don't have anything to do. Every individual here in this world has something to do. That's why you are here. And the more you understand as a offering to the Lord and how much it can serve the maximum number of people, to that extent you grow. And you growing, others will follow. Our own Gurudev, when he tirelessly worked for 42 years, he never said that do what I said, what I do. No. Just watch and you decide to follow. Nobody is forced to follow. And he very clearly says, Krishna says, how to empower the people around you. Don't just give sermons. Act. As he says here in this verse, Na buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. People in general are engaged in action because of their attachment to action. And the result, karma sangin. Karmani sangaha, karma sangaha. Sangaha means attachment, union, association. So karma sanghi is one, he who has attachment to action. And most people, 99% of the people engage in action with so much of attachment to what they do. And the results thereof. They are called ajnanina. So he says, ajnanam karma sanginam, of the people who are attached to their action and eventually the result, na janayet buddhi bedam. Don't unsettle their mind. You know, even in your own kids' case, you say, don't do it. By the time you don't, they will do it. Why? The question, why? What do you mean? Why you say you don't? So in general, people are attached to something, and what do you mean by that attachment? Whether anybody wants it or not, they will do it because they are attached to that. We always engage in that continuously. That gives us maximum pleasure. Some people are finding pleasure in doing an action. Some people are finding pleasure in talking to people. And so they engage in actions which they are attached to. And to such people, you don't say, perform karma yoga. Do it detachedly. आप पहले करो, दिखाओ मुझे. So Krishna says, you work exactly like them, but a different mind. Sakta karmani avidvamsaha yata kurvanti bharata. Saktaha, those who are attached, karmani in the actions, avidvamsaha, unintelligent. Sakta karmani avidvamsaha yata kurvanti, when they do so passionately what they do, the same way a man of knowledge will also do. Same action. Kuryat tadvat, same way. Vidvamsaha. Chikirshur loka sangraham. But they do it for the sake of the maximum benefit to others. Similar idea is brought here. Continuing, he says, Na buddhi vedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam Joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yukta samacharan. Vidwan samacharan yukta. A man of knowledge also samyak acharan engages in action. Sarva karmani. Yukta means unattached. So what attached people who with attachment passionately engage in action, a man of knowledge also should do the same thing, but with no attachment to result or the action itself. And make others do as well. Joshayet. This is what exactly our Gurudev has done. How so many people have taken to various activities of selflessly because they see him doing it. He is a person who lived in the Himalayas, learned from the masters, who lived in isolation and solitude. And his own teacher said, no need to go back to this world because it will just suck you in. And people who are there are not ready to listen to you because they are all men of passion and action. They will, and when so many of them are there, you alone, how are you going to, you will get dragged by them into that. Gurudev said, if my knowledge is right, if I am sure, they will follow me and not I will follow them. I want to prove it. I want to make sure this happens. His own teacher, Tapovanam, who lived in solitude, said, all the best. Don't come back to me and then cry later on. With that determination, he came down from the Himalayas and said, let me show to the people how to work with no selfishness. And exactly doing this thing, like any CEO of any company will work so tirelessly because he wants to prove, he wants to accomplish, he wants to establish, he wants to promote and progress. How so passionately he or she would work. He started working 18 hours, 19 hours. What? Telling people how to work on the teaching people, showing to people how to work with no selfishness. So it is not just talking and then trying to delude people. No, show it. Be the change you would like to see. This Gandhi has observed that. That be the change. What you want others to follow, you show it. Be you be that. It may not happen immediately, but when they start seeing how you are doing it, and you start proving it is right, then naturally people will follow. Na buddhi vedam janaye. Therefore, do not unsettle the mind of those people. Who? Those who are attached to work. You engage detachedly. See, this is what is called karma yoga. Engage in the body, disengage in your mind. Engage physically, like anybody else. So people would see you doing in the same way what others do. But in your mind, you're totally detached from what you do. That is the secret. That is the skill. The skill is how to disengage in the mind while physically engage like everybody else. How to be not anxious but engaging in with full force. Because our actions are all propelled by our particular desire. But no desire, but engaging in action. Not affected by the result of action. Do it. That's how a man of knowledge should engage. So then obviously Arjuna will ask, saying is easy, doing is so difficult. And then he said, I showed you myself. I have nothing in this three world to do, yet I engage. But Arjuna says, you say it's right, but the first question is, why my mind, or anybody's mind for that matter, if they know this, why do they still commit sin? Why do they commit so much of blunder and why do they make so many mistakes and so many unwanted things they engage? Why? It is a desire. It is a desire that propels an individual to do actions which are immoral, illegal, unethical, harmful, sitting in the heart of every one of us, pushing everybody. Where is it exactly? Therefore he says, profile of desire. The desire that pushes an individual to act passionately in this world. It has three locations. It's a franchise. It has three places where it operates from. It is because of this kama yesha krodha yesha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhi enamiha vairinam. The only enemy in all of us is the desire that is sitting within us, which doesn't allow us to engage detachedly. It always make us engage and indulge. Arjuna, therefore, this desire, one must decide and determine where exactly it is operating from. Indriyani mano buddhihi asyadhisthana muchyate etair vimohayat yeshaha jnanamavritya dehinam. Asya kamasya adhishthanam, place, home. Three places. Indriyani, sense organs. Manaha, mind. Buddhihi, intellect. This stays in three places. What does it do? Eshaha, kamaha. Dehinam vimohayati. It deludes the individual. Etaihi, with these. What does it delude? Jnanam avritya, covering the wisdom. It's like when you go out now after this class, it's all cloudy. Sun is not there today. Sun is not there. Sun is not there. You don't see the sun. And why is sun is not there? Because there are clouds that are apparently covering what? Not the sun, your eyes. It can never go anywhere near the sun. The sun is millions of miles away. It can never cover that. The sun is not covered. Your eyes are covered. Ganachannamarkyam ganachanna drishtihi. In Astamala Stotra, clearly Bhagavan Krishna Shankaracharya says, it is not the sun that is covered, it is your eyes that are covered. Ganachannamarkam ganachanna drishtihi. Drishtihi ganachannam. It is the eyes that are, your vision is covered, not the sun. So the knowledge, you see, now we read everything and all those things. We gain that knowledge, but it doesn't come in action. Why? This fellow, desire, passion, lust. It wakes up and it, through the sense organs and the mind and intellect, it just covers the wisdom. Dehinam vimohayati. Therefore, Even when you know, you cannot perform so easily. Why? That karma yoga or detached action is not possible for most of us is because of our weakness to desires. It overpowers. That's why he calls an enemy. Enemy is he who constantly watches you and makes sure that you don't excel. He's not a person who is sitting remote and then constantly blaming you. No. Every chance available, he will pull your foot down. In fact, your friend may not think about you that much, but an enemy, 24 hours a day. Ravana, he was the greatest bhakta of Rama. You know why? 24 hours he was thinking about Rama. How do I pull him down? How do I pull him down? Like some of the political parties, they want to. One fellow is waiting without a chance. Constant. So the desire is the enemy, not sitting far away from you. There itself. In your own body, sense organs, mind, intellect. That is his 2-3 locations. So anything you do, he is watching. What is he doing? Is he going to satsang? Oh, he's going to Chinmaya mission for a satsang. Let him come out of that hall. Waiting outside. The moment you come out, prasad. Prasad. Running towards them. So, indriyani, sense organs, manaha, buddhi, is standing, sitting there and trying to pull you down as much as possible. Vimohayati dehinam, it deludes. Etaihi, with these 3 things. Indriyani, sense organs, manaha, buddhi. Indriyani mano buddhihi asya adhishthanam uchyate etair vimohayati eshaha jnanamavritya dehinam. So be constantly aware of this inner enemy. So Arjuna will ask, where do I begin? Tell me, where do I begin to attack this enemy of yours, or enemy which is sitting? See, you know the enemy and where his location is. Now what you should do? What you should do? I told you where he is and who he is. Now what should be, as a soldier, what you should do? Akraman! Attack now. Where do you start? Start where he is very visibly present. Tasma tvam indriyani ado niyamya varadarshava papmanam prajahikyenam jnana virinam. This fellow who is trying to become the enemy of your knowledge and wisdom, who is first to be understood to be in the sense organ. Why it is so? As he says in the next verse, Indriyani paranyahu Indriyebhya param manah Manasastu para buddhihi Yo buddhe paratastu saha. Understand, sense organs are influenced by objects of the senses. The world is nothing but arrangement of objects. Things that can attract you to hear, by taste, smell, touch. The forms that can attract you, the smell that can attract you, the sound that can attract you, the touch that can attract you. All those sense organs are therefore as though influenced by the objects around you. But understand one thing, you have a choice to get into them or not. It is not the objects pulls you towards, forces you to experience. It is the weakness of the senses that are the cause for you to lose control. Objects by themselves cannot attract you. It is because you have a weakness for them, they pull you. As you go to the duty-free shop, bottles and bottles of spirituality is available. It is not that the bottles come to you, come on, drink me, drink me. It's because you have a weakness for it and therefore you cannot help it. And the person next to you who has no weakness to that, he will also look at it, but he has no problem with that. But you, Swami, wait. I have a very important job. I have to call somebody. You proceed. I forgot I have to call. And why don't you call outside? No, I have to call here. One person did that to me. I was going in Bangalore airport. I was coming out. The duty free, because when you come out, it's first you have to go to the duty free shop. Suddenly he said, I forgot something. I just have to go back. I understood. I smiled at him. Okay, do it. So, it is not the bottle of liquor that is, inviting you. It is your mind, that is sense organs that are weak. So, therefore, indriyani, sense organs are powerful than objects. Recognize that. Indriyani parani ahuhu. Parani higher. What? Sense organs are higher than objects of the senses. Greater than the sense organs, it is the thought, the feeling that you have. Indriyebhyah param manaha. Mind is greater than organs of action, organs, sense organs. Why? Because it is because of the thought of desire that is making your sense organs weak. So when you are going through this duty-free shop, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. The mind is, if you are occupied in Bhagavan, then you will not be able to, you will not even, don't even close your eyes. Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. So if you remember the Lord, then obviously sense organs will not have that weakness. Mind therefore is powerful than the sense organs. Manasastu para buddhi. A conviction, a determination, a knowledge, understanding is more powerful than the mind. Mind can also be certain times weak. No, this is not right. That's not correct. I should not do this. So the intellect, when it becomes forceful, the mind will oblige to it. If the intellect is gone to sleep, then mind will take over. Mind, because of the weakness of the mind, sense organs will take over. Sense organs take over, finished. You're lost. The intellect is more powerful than the mind. Mind is powerful than the sense organs. Sense organs are powerful than the sense objects. This is hierarchy. It is called GPS to self-mastery. Roadmap to self-mastery. How to get away and go to the goal. And understand, beyond the intellect is the Bhagavan, the Lord, who is sitting in your own heart as your own self. Buddhehe parahatu saha. That Lord, who is sitting in your heart, much superior than even Buddhi. If you have faith in that Lord, Buddhi will oblige, Buddhi will follow. Buddhi, when it is determined and convinced, mind will not waver. When the mind doesn't waver, sense organs cannot go here and there. When the sense organs don't go in there, desire cannot do anything. It will just fall flat. That is the secret of the saints. So the self-mastery is not seeing, not hearing, not tasting, not that. But shifting the attention to something higher, thereby the lower ones will follow through. How long you can close your eyes and nose and then stay there? Can you get rid of the world for always and ever? It's not possible. We have to live amidst things. So when the knowledge is established very well, then obviously all other weaknesses will go away. Not by turning away the world or objects, but shifting the attention to the higher one. The higher you go, the greater power mastery you have with the lower ones. It is like you want a particular paper to be passed or certain things to be, a license to be got or some permission to be got. And you go to the lower level grade officers or the clerks, etc. They say, no, it will take 1.5 months, I cannot do it, there's so much of paper there. And you somehow got through to the mayor, to the CEO of the company. Go directly. Somehow you got through that and then you went and talked to that person. Sir, please can you take it? Of course. See, give it to that fellow. So when he puts the seal on that, what 1.5 months? Next moment you will get it. Why? You have reached the topmost. Similarly, when the self or the Paramatma is meditated upon, all of them will fall through. But in most of our case, we don't even know how to reach there. Therefore, he says, start with sense organs. Don't indulge, intelligently engage. Don't deny. Discipline. So denial is not doing it. Trying to get away. Discipline is doing it with caution. Some people say, I have decided not to eat sweet at all, Swamiji. And when I took some people to Banaras a few years back, I told all of them, all of you should give up something, not your wife or husband, but give up something for life. As a mark of respect for the place you have come. So one person said, Swamiji, I have given up sweets. I told them, don't tell me, because when you tell me, then I will keep watching you. No, I want to tell you because I want to make sure that when I tell you only, I'm more sure that I will give up. I said, okay. After a few months later, when I met him, we were all having food. And there is a baklava there. And then some laddu and other things also. So he was eating baklava. Hey! You told me that you are given only Indian sweets. See, if you are not convinced, then you go on compromising. So you cannot, go on modifying and then you propose and what do you call that? What do you call that? They keep on in the Parliament Act. What do you do there? Amendment. You go on doing amendments to this. Then after some time you say, only in the morning I don't take this sweet. In the evening I take. One lady said, I have given up tea, Swamiji. Good. After a few months I saw another people, she was preparing tea. Hey, you are preparing tea for whom? Once a day I take. They mean compromise. When you don't follow your own promise, that is called compromise. So first, therefore, start understanding that sense organs are powerful than the objects. Mind is powerful than the sense organs. Intellect is powerful than the mind. And the Paramatma is greater than the intellect. When you have faith and trust and love and devotion to the Lord, then all of them will lose their power. So Bhagavan says, know Him. So there we end the 3rd chapter. So next week onwards we will start our elaborate explanation from the 4th chapter. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhad Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.